is Dan French here with LV Home Experts, the show. I'm in studio with my good friend and co-host. His name is chakits Krulsawat. He's from Simply Vegas. Chakits, what's happening today, bro?
What's up, everybody?
What's going on, Mr. Greg?
What's happening, my brother?
Simply
How are things?
Vegas. Great, brother. Great. Everything's going well. It's hot. And we got a lot of things to talk about. Financing and real estate. Chuck, what's that number to get involved over here?
702-257-5396. If you guys are interested in purchasing home, visit lvhomeexperts.com. Again, that is lvhomeexperts.com.
So we're going right back into it. We're talking with Greg about COVID and what's happening with a lot of these buyers out there. And so, you know, some other things we talk about is there's a lot of people scared to even think about buying a home that we're in the market. Are people really just pulling out altogether, or is this thing where it's like, well, let's wait till next year? Because, you know, a lot of stuff has happened. We're going back into, you know, we talk about this in Vegas right now. We went back to phase one on some of these bars, right? And these casinos. So there's obviously a lot of news out there that there's a lot more COVID cases happening, and it's starting to increase here in Las Vegas again. So are we back to square one where it's like everybody's, it's not saying that we're not going to go back in, people are just not going to travel, but are we back to where we started again? Because a lot of people are probably concerned again with this whole COVID crisis thing going on.
I think it's a reality. You know, this is something that we're all dealing with. We want to be safe. We want to make the right decisions. But, you know, if we're talking real estate, and that's what the show is based around, you know, it's not a COVID show. Values are going up. The market's doing well. So, you know, we have to just take that into consideration in that investment opportunity for out-of-state clients. If they're local, they're here.
Yeah, so a lot of people that were coming from out of state, they, you know, they took their plane ride. They had to wait, especially in Hawaii. They couldn't travel.
Right.
So I don't
Quarantines,
you know.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people are traveling still by car. I don't know if they're flying as much as they used to, but I think they're still coming here to Vegas. You know, I was looking at the traffic because I live over in the Henderson, Southern Highlands area, and the traffic coming into Vegas was really significant last weekend with the 4th of July.
And this is everybody from Hawaii driving here?
No, not driving.
The ninth
That
island.
was a joke,
right?
guys. That
The
was a
ninth
joke.
island.
The ninth island. No, but they were traveling in here, and I had people that were leaving to go to California.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, I'm not going to even." Took so long to get to California and then coming back.
Yeah.
So you do see that there's a lot of stuff going on because people probably want to travel by car more than they want to travel by airplane. But it's still going on. You got people coming here, still making offers. A lot of people are online. You deal with a lot of people that are looking at homes through that whole online process, and that okay. So what is some of the things that you're starting to see with that? Is there anything new that's happening with it? Is it you know, how does that all process work? How does it happen?
I wouldn't necessarily say new, but I have quite a few clients that, believe it or not, they'll buy property sight unseen. What do? I do the best that I can. I'll do virtual tours. They have pictures. They have, you know, a lot of things available to them data-wise, but I give them that personal touch. And again, I just give them the data. Some people, it's a means. They have to move. They have to make a decision. And we just want to make them as comfortable as possible, knowing that they're buying from afar.
What the crazy thing is, a lot of these agents, they had to adapt to that. However, we've been doing this about a year and a half already, so it wasn't new to us. I mean, this is something we were already doing. So
Correct.
I also think too, like, I think timing is a big thing. You said summertime's usually a big thing for people to start looking for houses, right? And so summertime's usually our time to shine, like we always talk about. Is have you seen a drop off with people coming at all, or is it actually increased with people still making offers during this summertime? Because I was looking at something the other day where it said new home sales were up, you know, like 16%, right? But then they said that overall home sales were down a little bit. So is it just the new home sector that's up? What are you guys looking at with that?
Well, I think that's, you know, based on the data that I've observed, I think we're up, sorry, I'm cutting out here, about 45% from May to June. If I'm not mistaken there.
Right.
So numbers are up, man. People are buying, people are selling. Interest rates are fantastic. Things are moving right along.
See, I think what I like to do with this show, and I think Chuck could probably appreciate this, is that we try to really give the real information. You know, we're not going to come on here and be like everything's, you know.
I don't sugarcoat anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just a gravy train here and everybody's buying. We understand there's some challenges, but for so far it's not deterred us from actually seeing people come and buying in a mass amount. So I think that you're still seeing a good flow of people. So I think, you know, what you're talking about, you, Chuck, I mean, you go out and you take these people out consistently. what real estate news that you want to bring up? Is there anything that you want to bring up?
I want to back up Greg based upon what he's saying. If we take a look at the last 30 days, I mean, we closed about 3,000 homes. We only have about 8,500 homes currently in the market.
Big problem, right?
Yeah, so that gives you about 1.6 months of supply. So things are moving. And I think what's happening is that if we take a look at the price point of the homes that are selling, it's around 450 and below. So that's where your market of the pool is. And we talked about this multiple times. People in today's society, and if we take a look at demographics, the baby boomers, there's over 19,000 baby boomers retiring every single day. So as they are retiring, they want to downsize, right? They want to cut their cost of living because cost of living is going high. What they take a look at is they look at every single state. They take a look at the climate, the food, the hospitals.
Yeah.
And what tends to happen is they start to see Las Vegas now becomes more desirable. And that's one of the challenges that we have here.
Vegas has been desirable as far as the last few years, and I think it's not, it's one of still the retirement places, I think, for a lot of people. A lot of people want to move here and they want to put down a large down payment. You guys have a lot of clients that have that access to that money. And, most often people, we just had somebody I was talking today was, they want to put a large down payment down or they could actually pay cash. Money's so cheap right now with rates. Rates are driving this market in contribution to people. Hey, maybe I'm not going to put all this money into a home and keep it in the bank and do something else with it.
Keep your liquid money if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, I had a client today, and he's going to put down probably about $250,000, and he asked me, should I put this down? I said, the main thing is that you got to take a look at what you're comfortable as far as a monthly payment. Is that driving the whole situation here? Because if you want to put a big chunk down and have a lower monthly payment, that makes sense. But first, you need to see what your comfort level is. If it's $2,500, you probably don't want to put down $250,000. You want to have some money on the side as far as cushion, because if the market does tank, let's just say, it's a lot easier to walk away with only putting down $50,000 versus $250,000.
You brought that up too, Greg. We were talking about this actually a couple of days ago. You said a lot of people are looking at maybe that the economy is going to tank, or maybe the market is going to have a problem at some point. This is what people say. We don't have any data. Do you deal with clients like that where they think maybe now's not the time, not just because of the COVID, maybe just because it's just people don't have the confidence in everything right now. It's not just one thing.
Like I said in the very beginning, you don't want to buy, out of fear, uncertainty, or doubt. That's just not rational. Don't let the market drive you out of fear. Base it on the data, and the data supports, again, the data doesn't lie.
And you can't time the market. That's the problem. And everybody's coming into this situation trying to time it, because everybody's trying to play this thing like it's a stock market. You're buying a house. You're not buying a stock market.
It is in its own form.
Yeah. Well, but you know what? Let's talk about this. You have a lot of people that have maybe witnessed people in 2006, 7, and 8 that had problems.
Yeah.
You have people that maybe in the market that you see people were back in the day, they were looking at people suffering, and maybe they don't want to go through that suffering part, or they're thinking that they're going to go through it. So maybe they have that hint of caution or doubt. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of people, it just seems like there's always some type of news that comes out. But yet, if you go back and look at history and you look at what's going on in the economy, the market always recovers. Even in 7, 8, and 9, yes, we had a big decrease. We had a big depreciation in homes, but it still recovered. So even if you don't know if timing's right, I would rather put my money into something like a home. We talk about this, than paying rent. I would rather pay a mortgage, So I don't know. For me, you deal with a lot of people like that. I have a lot of people that says, well, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's going to collapse? And I mean, look, we talk about this a lot on the show, but it's just people are just not sure about what to do. I think that's what it is. They're just uncertain about the world. It's not just the housing market.
You're absolutely right.
It's just the world. So I don't know. What are your thoughts, Chuck, as far as people coming in?
The first thing I'll do is we'll figure out, is this going to be a primary residence and how long you're going to stay there? And I talk about this all the time. If you're going to be there 10 years, okay, so let's take a look at the situation. Now, based upon you making this your primary residence, what is the location you're looking to buy, how many square foot, how much money you're looking to spend, because now we know exactly how much it's the cost. Now we go get financing and see the type of loan, how much money you got to put down, how much it's going to cost you in a mortgage. Now we take a look at on the rental side in the same neighborhood. Right. Now we're comparing apples to apples. If it makes sense to rent at that point because it's cheaper, then go ahead and rent. Now, if it makes sense to buy because you're going to live there 10 to 15, 20 years, whatever it is, then go ahead and buy.
We were all in a position where we bought our first home. We've all been in a position, I don't know, or buying a second home or investment property. I think timing's a big thing. And I think people want to know who they're working with. People want to know, like, you know, am I doing the right thing? There's a lot of people that's on the fence. When you have people like that, it's obviously a little bit harder maybe to guide them. But I think that you have to come up with some ideas and say, look, you know, here's the pros, here's the cons, weigh it out, and then go through that process. The last thing you want is somebody that's like, well, I don't know. Then they start the process of doing either a home loan or actually coming out here and looking at houses, and then they retract all of a sudden, and they're back to like, hey, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I don't know what's happening. What are your thoughts? It's just, I think when you're dealing with clients like that, people want to know and trust you, and I think that's really hard, especially when you have an ever-changing world like what's going on now. So you're a real estate agent out there. You're trying to talk with people and trying to build that trust. You know, what are some of the key points that people want to hear or want to know about?
Well, it's not about what they want to hear. It's about educating them. What they want, does it even exist? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Like, we can go through the whole financing part of it, and they find out I'm only qualified for $350, but based upon what they're looking for, it doesn't exist. You just answered your question. Right now is not a good time for you.
Right.
There you go.
That's it.
See, and that's what people want to hear. You know, sometimes it isn't a good time.
And that does happen a lot too, as well, because they think they can come out here and they can buy, you know, Taj Mahal, but they ain't getting the Taj Mahal.
Yeah. So you got a lot of people that follow you. They want to know what's going on in the world. So let's talk about downtown. Is there anything happening in downtown? There were some high rises and stuff going on. Is there high rise opportunities right now for people out there? Because I'm just trying to give everybody an insight. Maybe go outside the spectrum of just the normal existing home and cookie cutter and new homes. You know, is there things out there like that where there's townhomes available, or there's high rises available, or there's an opportunity for somebody to plant their money somewhere and actually get a return on investment down the road?
Well, you ain't gonna get a return on investment on the high rise. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, HOA fees are like $600-700. It just doesn't make any sense at this time.
Just depends on lifestyle.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's what that comes down to. It's just lifestyle.
Really
That's
lifestyle.
We've had clients that buy fourplexes, you know, duplexes. Is there any out there? Do they make them anymore?
No, they don't make any more fourplexes. A lot of them were built in the early 80s. So a lot of these fourplexes that are for sale, they're about $100,000 per door. The seller is asking a lot more than what it's worth. A lot of them have to be rehabbed because of the age of the home. And it makes no sense of getting into something like that for $400,000 and dumping another $80,000 into it. Your return just doesn't make any sense. And the owners of the property, they don't care because they bought it for $80,000, and their cash flow is probably, the return on investment is probably like 50-something%.
Pretty
It's
good.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So do you think a lot of people out there kind of think that, well, I know what the market's doing. I know rates are going to stay low forever.
Yeah.
Okay. How many times do people say, they're not going to go up, or they probably won't go up for a couple of years? They probably won't. I don't think our economy could sustain another increase in rates. But I can tell you that things may change. Okay. Now, this whole thing where we're talking about, it's like a perfect storm. You got low rates. Maybe the inventory could be a little bit more on the existing side. But if you look at the new homes, they're building like crazy. I had somebody ask me the other day, what are they going to do? They're running out of land. Are they running out of land right now to build new homes? Or are they going to keep going out towards Utah, maybe towards Pahrump? What's happening with that?
The crazy thing about that is I had a friend that flew in the other day, and he was telling me as he was flying in, he was looking down. And this is true because, I mean, I fly all the time. There is a lot of land out here still, but everything is like all interlocked. So, I mean, there's still a lot of land out here to build.
A lot of dirt, but it's owned. I mean, you know, my folks, they, you know, we're very well rooted here in Vegas. And my folks owned land. It was out near Ann Road, West Ann Road, right?
Yeah.
Way back in the day. It was the end of the world. I mean, they were talking like the 70s, right? And I'm like, you guys should have held on to that, you know? But they didn't, and they sold it, and they had partners with family. That's not really my point. My point is there's land out there, but it is owned for the most part. And most of the times when I'm working on land deals, they're way overpriced.
Way
Because
overpriced.
people think they're sitting on a gold mine, and maybe they are.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they are. But,
Yeah.
You know, that guess is as good as mine. I don't know.
I just don't think that something's going to stop in the next few years, right? I mean, people are so scared that rates are going to go up and the payment, if they're going to get into a mortgage, things are going to change. But you don't think that the land is going to actually, where we don't have enough here to build.
I don't think anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So people shouldn't be worried about all that.
Oh, no. But let me ask you this, Greg. Do you think this market will still be healthy for another 6 more months? I mean, and based upon your own opinion.
This market right now, you know, we have historic low interest rates. And I think in this economic climate, raising them would be of detriment.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. What do I know? I know nothing. I just know what I observe.
Yeah.
So I think that things are moving in the right direction. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts that are outside of, you know, the scope of what we actually do. It's on a grander level. But all I can speak for is in the now. People are buying, people are selling. The market's very healthy, and it's something that we didn't really anticipate, not knowing what we were going into.
Well, so a lot of times I see that people are hesitant about maybe, I want to talk about rates a little bit because I want to really kind of give an insight about what's happening with refinances. So do you guys have a lot of people that I think real estate agents have a bigger sense of pushing or directing people to try to get into reducing their rate or maybe taking cash out, repositioning like we talked about. Lenders, like I say this all the time, lenders are really, it's not the fun part. It's really not the glamorous part of it. You're dealing with money. You're talking about finances. It's something you do behind the doors. And you want to be real secret about it. Now, when you're talking about real estate agents have the ability to really help with guiding a client. And do you guys have a lot of people that you talk to that might look into refinancing or may not refinance or take cash out, maybe buy an investment property or something? Because I know you deal with a lot of different dynamics. Like you said, I don't really know that much about financing. You guys know enough. You're dangerous.
Not entirely true. That's not what I do for a living.
Right.
I've done this long enough that I can definitely, gear, not steer in the right direction. But I have no problem saying I don't have the answer. What I will say, though, is I know people that do.
There you go. Mm-hmm. You're really good at it, man. I mean, I'm just going to tell you, Chuck, you as far as being in the business, you don't know the back details. Like I've talked to him about it, but he knows enough where it's like, I know if somebody, like you tell me all the time, your whole process of working with somebody is you can be on the other side and be like, I know when somebody's BSing me. You know what I mean? I know when somebody's not telling me the right, and I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to talk to my lender. I'm going to talk to somebody else because something doesn't seem right. Yeah. So I think a lot of people want to have that trust. Mm-hmm. But I think right now with going back to refinances and with rates, it's refinance season. They said they're going to have the biggest refinance boom going on right now in really just in all in the mortgages in general.
So are people cashing out? Or are they most likely refinancing? What are they doing?
I think a lot of people are doing both, but I think what a lot of people are doing is just exercising to see if it makes sense. It's more like this. Maybe I didn't even think about it.
So are they taking their money out to live, or are they?
No, they're taking it, repositioning, like you say, pivoting. Maybe they're paying off debt.
Upgrades, who knows?
Upgrades. Maybe they're putting that pool in. How many times does everybody want a pool when they look at a home? It's like, hey, I'm gonna put a pool in or whatever they're gonna do. But I think with the equity that's been built and with rates being low, there's an opportunity. We have a caller on line 1 buying a new home. She's from California. Can you go ahead and push her through? Hello, this is Dan French, LV Home Experts, the show. How are you tonight?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. How are you guys doing?
Wonderful.
Great.
Thanks so much for calling.
Thank you.
What's your question?
I'm interested. My kids live in Vegas, and I've spoken to chakits a couple of times, and with everything going on, we kind of held back. I'm a healthcare worker, and so just trying to take every day, one day at a time and see what's going on. But and I was listening to you guys talking, and I had the same thing in mind where I was thinking I'll wait till this virus passes, or I thought that the market might tank and it would be my good time to try and purchase a home. But it looks like it's doing just the opposite. People are buying homes, seems like more than ever. So I wanted to know, I don't own a home. I'm renting right now, but I'm interested in buying a home in Vegas, and I just want to know if you guys could guide me so I won't be disappointed. I was in love with the area of SUMMERLIN. My son lives out there. He went to UNLV and then decided to make his home there. He's been there for about 4 years now. And we go out and visit all the time, so I was interested in purchasing something. We've been to Henderson, SUMMERLIN, and those are the two areas that I really like.
Yeah.
So, and I'm interested in a new home.
So how would you answer this question, Greg?
Well, it's going to depend. Are you currently renting, or do you have home ownership where you currently reside?
We're renting right now, and we've been here for about 15 years.
What is the duration of your lease, and when does it end?
We're out of the lease. We've been here.
So you're month to month?
Month to month, yes.
You're month to month. So just having an understanding of new builds, you're going to be looking at, depending on community, they're all different. Some are lagging 8 months on a traditional 6-month build. But the rule of thumb, depending on the size of the home, we're not really there yet, but you're probably looking 6 to 8 months for a build. Oh, so we would want to coordinate that for starters and see if that time frame would work.
I think so.
But you having the ability going month to month, you're not locked down. So it really just comes down to a landlord that's willing to work with you to stay there until we could turn. Yeah.
They we have a really good relationship with them. So, like I said, we've been here for 15 years. So.
That's huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. And that would be a seamless transition, So we find you the right property, all the numbers pencil. We get the groundwork, ahead, and we buy you a new home. The biggest thing is time frames moving from state to state, and it's such a luxury when you have a good landlord that's willing to work with you.
So in
Yeah.
this case, what would be the next step for her?
Essentially, we have to figure out your product. We have to get you approved. Are you going to finance?
I'm not sure. I would like to speak with you guys in more detail. Maybe at a later time we can get in touch.
Yeah, we'd have to exhaust all options. Now, another thing is that all these builds, unfortunately, there were some hardships with buyers during the pandemic. And a lot of properties may have been underway being built, maybe one that you fall in love with that plan. And there can be different time frames of the build. You can have a 3-month, you can have a 1 month, you can have something standing. So it ultimately depends on what your comfortable time frame and us exhausting the inventory that's out there that's good for, fits your needs for your family.
Okay. And then will it be a problem if it's our primary residence, but we would be traveling back and forth, I guess?
If we're going to finance, it's going to come down to, can we prove residency? Right,
Okay.
Dan?
Yeah, I didn't want to chime in. I just wanted to let Greg answer that. But yeah, it would come down to occupancy. There's some challenges, but it's not stuff we can't overcome. But I know that's sensitive information. We can talk outside studio on this.
Okay.
Because I know, like I said, I've been saying this. The real estate part of it and the finding a home is the fun part. So we'll talk about that after the show. Maybe we'll give you a call on Monday or something and see what we can do with you. Okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thanks so much for the call.
Thank you for the call.
Thank you. And you have my information, or they'll get it?
Yep.
We'll get
All
your
right,
information.
Thank you, guys. I'm enjoying your show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Very
man.
educational.
You have
So- So that was a great way to really abstract information from the client to help them out. So that way you can actually repositioning them and getting them into the home that they want. So that's just kind of like a case study, kind of overhead view, kind of show you how things work.
Yeah, and I think that people really they are thinking about it. It's interesting to see what the steps would be. Maybe they're just trying to let me get started, let me get that foot in the door. But I think letting everybody know the process up front and going through that, it's really really an ease on the mind. We also have another caller, it looks like, online too. We'll take this caller real quick. Chuck, are you flexing over there, man?
Yep.
Man, you're tatted up. How you got tats everywhere, man? Are you covered like from head to toe? Like what part of your body is not with tattoos on it?
My butt. I don't know. Can we say that?
Greg,
You keep
got
that to
tattoos?
yourself.
Yeah. You got tattoos, Greg?
No, I'm in the process of my first, to be honest with you.
Oh, wow. Are you
really?
Yeah.
Oh, what are you gonna get?
Big shout out to my boy Joey Harrington, the Ink Master.
Oh, nice. What are you getting? What are you getting?
Big Joe.
My son's name is Phoenix.
Oh,
so
nice.
I got this great design. I'm almost 40 years old. I put a lot of thought behind it.
Oh,
That's
gotcha.
So
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty sharp.
No Simply Vegas tattoo or anything?
John Gafford, you wish.
Hey, maybe if you get some sponsorship, man.
Oh, that's
yeah,
true.
sponsorship money.
I'm cool.
Chuck, would you do it, man? If the price is right, would you put Simply Vegas on your chest or something somewhere?
I don't know about my chest, but I throw it somewhere. Probably, we talk about 100,000. We start from there.
Okay.
100,000.
Money talks,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, your
100,000?
son's got a cool name, man. Phoenix.
Yeah,
I like it.
Phoenix Michael, yeah.
Yeah, I like it, man. So yeah, let's go back into it. So we got a caller. We got a caller online too, and Denise, you want to go ahead and push them through? Looks like they're asking about mortgages. Want to maybe answer that? Hello, Les and Jenny.
Yep, we're here.
What's going on, guys? How are you?
All right, how are you guys? We're watching you guys live.
Oh,
Awesome,
nice.
man. Thanks for the call.
Excellent. Thank you. What's going on, man? You had a question about a mortgage, huh? Or mortgages?
Yeah, so we have a LIBOR a LIBOR mortgage, and a LIBOR's going away, and we wanted to find out from your team there what they think's going to get replaced, and what we're going to stay in the house, which way to go with it.
Well, I mean, so what are you guys trying? Where do you guys live now?
We're in Arizona.
You're in Arizona. Are you guys trying to move out this direction to buy a primary residence? What are you guys trying to do? Retirement or something?
That's we're looking at everything.
Yeah. We definitely have options for that. What are your guys' challenges? Like, what do you guys have? We have about 2 minutes, so for me to go deep on that, it'd be kind of hard. But what are your guys' challenges? Have you guys had any challenges as far as what you're doing? You guys have a property, I'm assuming, that you have now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what are some of the challenges you guys are going through on that? As far as, you're trying to sell it, or what are you guys trying to do with it?
Yeah, we're getting ready to possibly put it on the market, and we're also thinking about if we stay here to put money into it. And we had a 7-year fixed LIBOR.
Yeah,
and
because I mean the options are there. Usually it makes sense. Like for me, I always sell a LIBOR or sell it's adjustable rate mortgage really on more of a jumbo product because it's called payment shock. They don't want to have the payment go up too high, so the rates and they usually start out low and then they increase based upon the LIBOR, but obviously you guys want to sell the property there, I'm assuming, right? And then are you guys trying to say you want to get another mortgage here and maybe call it a primary residence, correct? Is that right?
We're not sure. We're not sure yet. We just wanted to hear your guys' opinion about what, LIBOR's going away and what's going to replace it. What do you guys know about that?
Well, on the LIBOR, I don't know what's going to replace it. I know it's going away. I don't have the news on what's replacing it. I can get that information. Like I said, we can talk outside studio if you want. Maybe Denise can get your information, but maybe we can set something up better for you after getting the information or getting more details on what's happening. Is that okay, Les? Okay. Sorry, we're less time here. So this is Dan French with LV Home Experts, the show. We got in here. We got chakits Krulsawat from Simply Vegas in studio. Also, Greg Clutters from Simply Vegas. We'll be back next Saturday from 6 to 7 p.m. on News Talk Radio KDWN, and we'll see you then.